Happy Friday, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another edition of Fourth and Forever, your go-to NFL news, rumors, hot take show on the damn internet. We are live Monday through Friday at 2 p.m. EST. You already know because I see a lot of the familiar faces in the live chat already. And Richie is leveraging his stand-up desk. He's moving around. He's feeling it. How you doing, man?
I'm great, bro. It's Friday. Happy Friday, everybody. Let's go. The vibes are through the roof. Another episode of Fourth and Forever. Smash the thumbs up button on your way in. It's great, man. Today's opening day for the Mets in terms of their first game at home, which is starting in an hour, which I'm really excited about. Almost went to this game. Yeah, they had their first two series away. So it's their first home game, the seventh game of the season. And yeah, I actually got invited by the Mets to go to the game next week for free, which is exciting. Because we're actually organizing a Mets event similar to Jets Media Day, but a Mets event. And the ticket sales rep guy of the Mets, he's like, hey, do you want to come to the Citi Field and check out the space on us? I was like, yeah, love to go to the Mets game next week. So I'm excited. A lot of fun things happening.
So they reached out to you or on behalf of Wardy? And Wardy was like, yo,
I've been setting it up for Wardy in terms of I've been the one that's setting it up. Because so I found a Mets ticket sales rep on their website. I called him, told him that I do a lot of events with the Jets, and I'm trying to do something with the Mets with my friend Wardy. And now we're working it out. Found a spot, a lounge, which is fun. And then he called me. He's like, hey, do you guys want to come to the game next week on us? And you can see the lounge.
That's sick.
So yeah.
That's sick. So I will tell you what, you would be proud of me because I did send an email over to that Buffalo Bills ticket rep.
I know. I did see that. I saw what he said back.
I am ahead of it, which is good. Through hell or high water, there will be a Roundtable Sports Buffalo event this year.
Buffalo Bills fans, if you're in the chat right now, let us know if you're interested for our first ever AFC East Roundtable Buffalo Bills event because it's way overdue and I'm excited about it.
Yeah.
Look, Brandon Day right away in the chat. You guys have to plan an AFC East event in Buffalo this year. Last year in the stadium. Go Bills. Please, Brandon.
It is. Yeah. Most definitely. You want to know why, man? Because today... So the Buffalo Bills ended up putting the last piece of structural steel on their new stadium. Oh, man, I'm excited about it. But TD, enough about me and the Bills. How about you? What's up?
It's a beautiful day. I don't know why we talk about all these losing organizations like the Mets and the Buffalo Bills. But yeah. Anyway,
your Marlins.
They cheated. But listen, man, I'm a Texas Rangers fan, by the way. Listen, man, Richie trying to throw me off my game. But here we are, Fourth and Forever, baby. Let's go.
Yo, wait a minute. You said that you're like a Texas Rangers fan?
Yeah, I'm a Texas Rangers fan right now.
Bro, you are all over the place with like your favorite franchises, you know? And like, not that there's anything wrong with that. All right, so you're a Miami Dolphins fan. You're a Boston Celtics fan.
That's right.
And you're a Texas Rangers fan.
Depend on the week.
I low-key kind of feel like I'm looking at like a 12-year-old's Twitter bio, like where he has like all of his favorite teams that are like nowhere close geographically connected, but somehow he has a reason why he's a fan of all three.
A Boston Celtics fan, bro. Come on.
I'm going to be honest. I'm having a hard time really picking my baseball team.
Dude,
it should be the Marlins, dude. It's always that's what it should be.
It's always by like geographical
to the Mets.
So it's always by like geographical
rival
location.
too, TD, so it'll work. Stop being a bandwagon fan. Like if, like for example, Buffalo is interesting. If you live in Buffalo, you can kind of like, okay, who am I going to be a fan of? Cleveland, which is close. One of the New York teams. They don't have a baseball squad, but you're a Miami Dolphins fan. There should be one team, the Miami Marlins.
Yeah.
All right. Yes. Okay. I'm a Marlins fan. I just want Richie to come up here gloating. You know.
Woo! Stay tuned. So to when our good friend TD selects his hockey team. What's your hockey team, TD?
Has to be
Stars.
The Stars. Hey, listen, there's the Rangers connection at least. All right. Like we're in like that's good. The Dallas Stars. The Dallas Stars guy.
I lived in Dallas for almost 12 years.
He did. That's why it makes sense. It's just the Boston Celtics.
And I used to go to Stars games, man.
Dan, do you have a favorite baseball team? I know you're not like super, but if there was a team, do you have one?
So ironically enough, I played baseball growing up.
Yeah, I know. I know you played.
So that was my sport. I kind of started off following the Yankees when I was a kid. But then when I moved down south, because my uncle lived a little bit outside of Atlanta, and he took me to a lot of Braves games. So I hate to be, I'd say currently I'm a Braves fan. And so I've been a Braves fan since like 12 or 13 years old.
Well, they're 0-7, so.
Hold on. So all three of our teams are in the same division?
Yes.
No.
Mets, Braves, and Marlins?
Well, Mets and Braves. Oh, okay, never mind.
Marlins are too.
Totally forgot. So I totally forgot that you just switched from a Rangers fan right over to a Marlins fan.
No, I'm a Marlins fan. And by the way, we're second in the division right now. I just want to make sure we're clear on that. We are second in the division right now.
Hey,
okay?
Well, we're starting a baseball show, man.
We only trail the Phillies. I don't know about them scrubs under us like the Mets, 500. Oh,
we just beat you in a series, bro. Chill.
Yeah, but your record. Look at your record, Richie.
3-3. Come on.
And we 4-3, baby. Let's eat.
Oh, man. Well, you know what, guys? Listen,
you know a fun fact real quick. I have to say this. Conine, the player on the Marlins, my cousin, first cousin, next door neighbors with Griffin Conine. Just any Marlins fans, Griffin Conine, that is my cousin's next door neighbor. I grew up in their backyard and chilled with the Conine family. Fun little fact. Let's move on. Football talk.
Fun little fact indeed. But hey, surprisingly enough, and this is a football show, and we are about to dive in to quite a few of it. Now, folks, say, for example, that you were tuning in via Spotify or wherever you listen to podcasts. If you are enjoying what we do on a weekly basis, on a daily basis, rather, please consider leaving a rating and review and following us. And also consider finding us on YouTube because, as you know, we have a very active live chat community and we do all of these episodes live. And we would love to see you in the live chat. But first topic, and you know what? It's great because I feel like all the breaking news happens after we conclude an episode of Fourth and Forever. Geno Smith, damn. 2-year extension, $75 million. It's worth up to $85.5. $66.5 million was completely guaranteed, tying him to the Las Vegas Raiders for the next 3 years, which could coincidentally enough is the exact length of Pete Carroll's contract over in Las Vegas. There's a lot of storylines coming out of this. Number one, when you compare side by side the Sam Darnold contract he received from Seattle and the Geno Smith contract that he received from Las Vegas, total value, the difference is about $1 million. So a lot of questions arise there. And then number two, are they completely punting the Shador Sanders situation now? Are they long-term committing to Geno Smith? Are they looking to the draft next year for a QB? Let's unpack this in its entirety because there is a lot to discuss. TD, Geno Smith with that crazy extension from Las Vegas.
Yeah, these contracts have no negative ramifications, in my opinion. These contracts still allow you to draft the young quarterback. The Atlanta Falcons set the precedence, and this isn't nearly as bad as the Atlanta Falcons, what they did. And they were able to draft the quarterback, and they still had the ability to get out of it. So that's what these contracts are. You got a guy who isn't a franchise quarterback, but he can steer the ship. And, you know, he's going to play well enough to where you got to respect him and pay him. No, he's not going to be getting 60 million. No, he's not going to be getting 50. And so you have to, you know, indulge him and give him just under 40 million. And there's two guys who set the precedent here. That's Kirk Cousins, not the money though, but the type of contract where you can easily move off of it next year if you want to. And then you have to look at a guy like Geno Smith. You got to look at Daniel Jones. It's all the same, you know? It's all the same type of contract, technically. It's just with Geno's, it's less money. I was shocked at the 66.5 guaranteed, which means they're giving him a year and a half, a little bit more than a year and a half worth of guarantees. So Geno's getting paid. Geno's seeing bags that he had never seen in his life, and nor did he think he would. So that's what the league is turning into for the quarterbacks. The market is beautiful for these guys who can say, listen, man, bring me in. I can start, and I can do a good job. I ain't going to take you to a Super Bowl, but I can do a good job. So that's what this is. Raiders, They still in the market for a quarterback. They still looking for their future. This is just to make sure if they miss out in the draft that they don't look stupid again. Remember last year, they missed out and looked stupid. They are not going to let that happen again. So they're still going to try to get a quarterback, but if they miss out, they won't look stupid.
So what do you think about that, Richie?
Yeah, I think Geno Smith getting this contract extension does not rule out the Raiders whatsoever of drafting a quarterback. I think that it's just a 2-year extension. There's 3 years now on the contract with the Geno Smith and the Raiders. And I think Geno Smith is the perfect stopgap quarterback for their potential future that they're going to draft right now. Maybe they don't. Maybe they're committing to Geno and the next year they want to go into the draft. Maybe that's how they will look at it. But I feel like this, and listen, man, let's not forget, Geno Smith played his best ball under Pete Carroll. And when he started to regress is when Pete Carroll stepped down from Seattle. So you guys know me. I got a soft spot for Geno. I'm really excited to see what he does with the Raiders. I'll be rooting for him. I think that he had such a breakout season a few years ago and everyone was on the Geno train and then he just kind of leveled out and didn't match that. Like if you have that breakout season and you weren't anybody beforehand, you need to get better in order to really show like who you are, not stay the same or even show signs of decline, which he did. So now that he's on a brand new team again, could this be his official home long-term? He's got to ball out because I think that there's still an opportunity for him to draft Shador Sanders, even draft a guy later in the rounds, maybe a Jackson Dart. You never know. But I think this is Geno Smith's show. And whoever they draft, Geno is still going to play for the next 2 years unless he gets hurt. That's how I look at it.
Now you think that when you put side by side the Sam Darnold and the Geno Smith contracts, what do you think that tells us, right? Because it's still very unclear whether or not that Geno asked for a trade, right? Whether or not that he was the one that spearheaded this entire thing or whether or not that Seattle just wanted to move on and they didn't want to pay him. Because I look at both of these QBs, I look at Geno and I look at Sam Darnold, and they both have very limited sample sizes of success. I wonder, since the Seattle Seahawks gave Sam Darnold that contract, what made them step aside and say, nah, not Geno. Like, we're not going to pay him that money, but we are going to pay somebody that arguably has a way less of a sample size of success. I wonder if Geno was the one that spearheaded this because he wanted to be paired back up with Pete Carroll. Richie, thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think reuniting with Pete Carroll is a big thing here. And I feel like Seattle has shown signs of regression and no one really is comfortable with the state of the Seahawks with their new coach when Pete Carroll left. So I think that you're onto something there. I think he did not want to sign that extension with Seattle. He found out that the Raiders are interested and he wanted to get out. He wanted to leave Seattle. So makes sense. Now he's reunited, baby. He's reunited. Exciting stuff, man. Really exciting stuff.
TD, what do you got?
Yeah, same, man. He wanted to go with what he's familiar with. And you got to make decisions for your future at this point if you're Geno Smith. Like I said before, he's seeing bags he had never seen before. He's getting money he never seen. You're not going to want that to be temporary. So you want to go in the best position with the coach that best suits you so that hopefully you can extend that. Hopefully you can extend that on to the next 2 years later where you get another extension or another team's treating you like this. So that's why he took that pay cut, because long term you got to set yourself up, because he was going to be in trouble where he was. I mean, he was going to fizzle out and be one of those $5 to $10 million quarterbacks. Now he got a chance to potentially continue to hover in that 20 to 40 range. If he plays well enough to steer the ship, and he won't even be required to do anything overly special. He doesn't have to win a Super Bowl. He doesn't have to go to an NFC championship game, AFC championship game. He just needs to steer the ship, help the team get some wins, look competent, and give him a chance. And that's all he has to do. So I like that.
I like it indeed. I like it indeed. But hey, you know what? That was not the only extension. Actually, in the exact same, his former division, we saw an extension to tight end Trey McBride from the Arizona Cardinals. He is now the highest paid tight end in NFL history. 4-year, $76 million extension, $43 million guaranteed. That propels him above the George Kittles of the world, Travis Kelce, what have you. This is probably a product, in my opinion, of just that additional $30 million that was slapped on to the NFL salary cap as a whole in 2025. Because I'm not going to lie to you, last year I drafted Trey McBride on one of my fantasy teams. And everybody was like, dude, trust me, he's about to be that guy. He's about to be that guy. And you know what? I finished with 3 wins. All right. Thank you so much. I thought Trey McBride was going to be that
guy,
dude.
though, still. was
he that dude, man? Trey McBride. Thoughts on the extension? What do you think about this guy? Is this well-deserved? What does this tell you about the future of the tight end market?
My question is, who did you have on that fantasy team besides Trey McBride? Because he was one of
a lot of injury-prone players.
Well, there you go. I don't think
we hit the injury bug terribly.
I was a huge fan of Trey McBride when he came out of college. I wanted the Jets to draft him really bad. I had a huge draft crush on him and just like, yo, the Jets got to get this guy because we need a tight end and he would be a difference maker. So I definitely see Trey McBride from that lens, where if you fall in love with a prospect and you want your team to draft him, but then he goes to another team, you always keep your eyes on him, right? See what he does in the NFL. And Trey McBride is one of them. The entire Jets fan base wanted Trey McBride that year. So he went to the second round. He deserves the bag, man. He is your prototypical receiving threat. He can catch every single ball. The catch radius off the charts, can break you down with any route. He can block okay. He's not the best blocker in the world, but I think this is definitely worth it. I mean, resetting the tight end market. I think the tight end position is unique in today's world of the NFL. It's getting more and more priority, in my opinion. I think the tight end position is so unique because it's a weapon that you can utilize in your offense that you can't really, do in other instances. So I think Trey McBride deserves this contract. I understand that the market is what it is, and it's inflation right now because the cap space is going up across the league. So keep that in mind. There's a reason why Trey McBride's resetting the market. It's because he's the next in line to get paid. He's a great tight end, and he's young. I think this is a good contract, and it's going to be looked back on and be like, yep, that was smart. He's a baller.
See, I feel like they definitely need to force Kyler Murray to look for him in the red zone, though, because dude only had 2 touchdowns last year. That's why I was upset.
He never found the end zone. That was one thing about Trey McBride.
Yeah, was completely wild. But now that they've invested so heavily within this player, maybe I will give him a second chance in the fantasy draft coming up. TD, thoughts? What do you got?
I love this move, actually. I love this deal. Trey McBride is an up-and-coming tight end that's going to be, here for years to come. When you look at what he's done over the last 2 years, I know he's a 3-year guy in this league now, but you don't really look at that rookie year. But the last 2 years, he's been coming on strong. 2 years ago, punching in 825 yards on 81 receptions. That's a strong showing for the tight end position. When you really look at it, that's what you want in your tight end. And then you bring that back last year and have 111 receptions when you add the rookie wide receiver. You add a wide receiver who's supposed to be at the top of the mountain, and you do better numbers. It's 111 catches, and then you punch in 1,150 yards. That's huge, man. So he's here to stay. And he's the type of guy where that ability is going to stick around for the next, 5 to 7 years at a minimum. He has that ability to be able to play at this level for quite some time. You look at certain guys and you just look at how they run and how they look when they do it. You can tell it's a natural thing. He's one of those guys. So he's an athlete. They got their guy. But here's the thing. What I love more about the deal is $43 million guaranteed. If anything goes wrong, you're only locked in 2 more years. They caught it early. Think about it. He was on the rookie deal. They caught it early. So this helps them have flexibility in that deal to where they don't feel $19 million a year. It doesn't feel like $19 million a year when you sign players early like they're doing. So kudos to the Cardinals. I might have to start paying attention to the Cardinals. They made a lot of moves this offseason.
Loaded.
They made some moves. I don't believe in a Kyler Murray, ladies and gentlemen, But I will say they made a lot of moves this offseason for the better on both sides of the football. And look out for the Arizona Cardinals, man. I might have to start showing them some respect, even though they got a quarterback that's good enough not to be good enough.
See, you know what? We need to see a Marvin Harrison Jr. come up here this year, right? Like that's actually a great topic for future episodes, are like rookies that really didn't end up taking that step we anticipated them to. Like Marvin Harrison Jr. was just blah like last year, right? Like I was anticipating so much from him. And granted, I continuously remember seeing a lot of highlights where dude was wide open and Kyler Murray just didn't see him. So maybe that talent is still there. But I think the gem of the draft, at least out of the wide receiver position, was hands down Brian Thomas Jr. That was a damn dog, but unfortunately no one talks about it because he was on the bum-ass Jaguars. I'm sorry, Cameron. I love you. I don't know, man.
I like
expectations for the Cardinals.
I'm excited for Tyler Warren to get paid the bag in 3 years by the Jets to become the highest paid tight end in the NFL. That's what I'm excited for.
So you're still on that, right? Like you're still pounding the table. Like he's like on top of your draft board.
Oh yeah, on top, 100%. Last year I did not want Brock Bowers, not because of Brock Bowers a prospect, just because the Jets had a hole at left tackle and I wanted to get that left tackle. Now that we got a left tackle, I think it's time. I think it's time to go after the. And the difference of Tyler Warren of a guy like McBride or even a guy like Brock Bowers is his blocking ability. He's such a unicorn like that, bro. That's why he's getting Gronkowski comparisons. You don't see a lot of tight ends that can impact this game the way Tyler Warren can from blocking and receiving. That's why I want him, bro. Soup a lot.
It's one or the other, man. Listen, we all have draft crushes for all of our teams.
Draft crushes. Now, I do have some news.
Oh, it's Richie's impromptu.
Richie's impromptu.
I know, right?
You don't like the impromptus?
No, I do.
So we were talking about events, right? And I want to let you guys know that the Roundtable Sports event form is live. All right.
Oh.
Now, what this event form does, it gives you an opportunity to go out there and sign up for the Roundtable Sports priority list. The link right now is at the top of the chat. All you got to do is fill out this form. We ask you very simple questions. Who's your favorite team? What's your email address, phone number? Where are you located? And then you have some of the event recap videos embedded in there if you want to see what the events are like with the AFC's Roundtable. We're planning to go to Buffalo this year. We're planning to stay at MetLife Stadium for the third straight year. Maybe go to Miami, maybe go to New England. But we need to hear from you guys who's interested in these events before we can move forward. So this is a way we can just get a gauge of who's interested, and you guys will be joining the priority list and receiving the latest news via email and text message directed by Roundtable Sports. So if you guys want to fill out the form, it'll let us know who's interested so we know how many tickets we should get and all that. So we'll definitely let you guys know about it and keep you guys up to date regarding the Roundtable Sports events this year.
Man, you know what? I am so looking forward to it. And so I really, really am, man.
Let's go!
And we need to see many people that are Dolphins fans located in the Miami area sign up before we commit to a Dolphins event. Because TD, we're very disappointed in Miami Dolphins.
So I think that we can get it done because typically how the schedules align for the Buffalo Bills and Miami Dolphins, they rotate on who goes where first. Last year, Miami was in Buffalo first. This year, I would automatically assume that we would be in Miami first, likely within the first 3 or 4 weeks. Like how Bills fans completely outnumber Dolphins fans in the stadium each and every single time they play, I would say let's make sure the Miami event is against the Buffalo Bills because we know that Bills fans would certainly buy those tickets.
Y'all don't outnumber us.
Come on.
It's true, man. Now, the schedule comes out in May, and that's when we're going to get an idea of when these events are. So we would love if you guys can fill out the forms so we can have an idea when we do go through the events. We know exactly how many tickets we should get for said team. Telling us your favorite team and where you're located would give us an idea of, number one, are you in the area? Are you willing to travel? All that type of stuff. So really exciting stuff. We did 3 events so far for Roundtable Sports. We're trying to do even more. And I think it's a really good way to get everybody together and meet everybody in the chat. It's a fun opportunity. Do a live show together, all that fun stuff, and party together. We'll be at MetLife Stadium. We'll be at Buffalo for sure. and we'll see about the others.
Yeah. We will certainly see about the others as we move on. Guys, listen, a massive storyline for the past couple of weeks has been Trey Hendrickson. And we discussed this ad nauseum about what Katie Blackburn had to say about her thoughts on the contract situation, essentially suggesting that he just needs to suck it up and take less money. But leaks have come out that they have actually, of what the offer looks like. It sounds like the Bengals have rumored to offer him in the range of $28 million per year. That's per Pro Football Talk. $28 million per year is the reason why he is upset. And I'm going to transition over to TD on this one. Does he have a right to feel disrespected with that overall figure at 28? Talk to me. And by the way, I am pulling up all of the defensive end contracts on Spot Track so we can have a bit more of a reference point. But go off.
Isn't it crazy that you could say 28 million and be disappointed?
Oh,
like
yeah.
when you first said 28, I was like, oh, that's good. And then I thought about who just signed a $40 million deal?
So here's where it is, and here's my opinion on it. So the two highest paid are Daniel Hunter and Myles Garrett. And both of them are about 30 years old, exact same age as Trey Hendrickson. Following that, it's Max Crosby, who's 27. He gets 35. Then Nick Bosa has about 34 million per year. And then Milton Williams, defensive end, gets 26, who's 26 years old, obviously. So if I'm a gambling man, I think Trey Hendrickson, based off of his production, 17 and a half sacks, back-to-back seasons, he was probably hoping for 30, 32, 33. Dare I say the Myles Garrett $40 million per year range, but that's obviously just speculation. Does he deserve the right to feel disrespected with that figure? 28 million.
How much is Danielle Hunter getting?
He is getting 35.6, and he is 30 years old. Same age. Yeah.
Massive disrespect. Massive disrespect, man. Because he should be getting more than Danielle Hunter. Danielle Hunter is good, but I'm just saying he should be offered more than Danielle Hunter. And they're all, like you said, in the same age range. Let's just be honest. Trey Hendrickson, he should be getting a contract around 37 to 40 million himself. I mean, isn't he at the top of the game? And didn't he get hurt one of these seasons?
He had 17 and a half back-to-back.
But one of those seasons, didn't he miss games? Maybe I'm thinking of the wrong.
I don't think so. But still, like it's funny. Like sometimes I really enjoy to like go and lurk on specific message boards and or like Twitter groups of opposing fan bases to get like a temperature check on where they're at. And I've noticed that a good portion of Cincinnati Bengals fans are just like, oh, he's on the wrong side of 30. And it's almost like that they're thinking like, yes, I get it, right? Like I get it. But how much of a drop off are you expecting? Like how much of a drop off are you expecting? 17 and a half sacks back-to-back seasons. Like you would assume that these guys are anticipating that he's going to like see a 75% decrease in all of the metrics that make him so great. So I probably would have to say that 28 million, that is 110% disrespectful.
4 years in a row making the Pro Bowl, all pro last year, number one all pro, by the way. First team, AP Defensive Player of the Year. Come on, man. This is they disrespected him with that number. That's actually, you need to request a trade. Don't even play with them. Don't even play with them.
So I agree with Zach, who's in the chat, and he says that if Cincinnati pays him, then they are in trouble. And I'd agree, because they have a lot of things that they need to work on as far as filling up that roster. But like why they're being so stingy of holding him back and wanting him to take something so significantly less. That's where the disrespect lies, in my opinion. Richie, is $28 million per year disrespectful?
Yeah, I think you look at his production, he deserves the more. If you look at the position, what other people are getting paid, that 100% is disrespectful. And the one thing about it that I think that the Bengals are being hesitant is the age, I guess. Maybe they feel like we don't see you keeping this pace up, right? We don't see you doing this into your 30s. You had 17 and a half sacks back-to-back years. We don't want to commit money to you when we don't feel like you can replicate that. So maybe that's their perspective. Maybe Hendrickson just like, trade me then, bruh. Feel me? Get me out of here. So I don't know. That maybe.
Someone will pay me that. Come on, man. Yeah. Somebody. Well, look at the Browns. So they paid Myles Garrett. And by the way, with Trey Hendrickson has been more productive than Myles Garrett for the past couple of seasons. On paper. So I think that he certainly has a right and to feel some type of way, baby. Some type of way, man. But let's move on. Damn. The Steelers are hosting Jackson Dart. All right. He is a fan favorite on this show. A friend of the show.
Friend of the show, friend of the program.
Jackson Dart. Oh, man. It's the Pittsburgh Steelers, man. They're sitting there. It's funny because at first I wanted to care about the Pittsburgh Steelers quarterback situation, but the more and more that I hear about like Rodgers, yeah, maybe, no, yes. And then all these QBs that they tried to bring in, and now it's Jackson Dart. I think how I kind of want to spin this topic is he going to fall that far to 21? Because we had a conversation yesterday about, is this dude about to go top 10? I don't know. Richie, a massive Jackson Dart fan.
Massive.
Thoughts on this? The Pittsburgh Steelers are currently slotted at the 21st overall pick. They don't have a lot of picks either. That's something I feel like people aren't talking about. I want to say, and let me know if I'm wrong, but I think they only have 6 selections in the upcoming NFL draft. So one would assume that them walking away with even additional assets to trade up in the drafts would be financially irresponsible. So they're likely staying at 21. Is Dart going to be there at 21? Richie?
No guarantee. Absolutely not a guarantee. There's some rumors that he goes way earlier than that, like you mentioned there, Dan. So I think it's a risk for the Steelers to stay put. If they're interested in Jackson Dart, they would probably have to trade up for him, and that would be smart. I think Jackson Dart would make a lot of sense in Pittsburgh, especially if they bring in Aaron Rodgers, man.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what the Jets tried to pull off, but it was backwards because they drafted Zach Wilson and Zach played as a rookie, and then they wanted to bench him and sit. That's not going to work, bro. That was backwards. The Jets are incompetent with developing quarterbacks, which is why they're going a new direction of trying to get somebody that's already been here instead of drafting someone, right? But the Pittsburgh Steelers are set up, man. If they get Aaron Rodgers in the building, I would trade up for Jackson Dart and get him sitting behind Aaron for a year, bro, because the one thing about Jackson Dart that I always say, he needs to sit for a year. He's not ready to play right now, in my opinion. I could be proved wrong. Maybe he goes out there this year as a rookie, wherever team he lands on, balls out, whatever. But I think he would benefit tremendously. And if the Steelers want him, you got to trade up, bro. Got to trade up.
If the Steelers want him, you have to trade up. TD, thoughts on this one?
Yeah, I mean, they should be hosting Jackson Dart. They just like the Raiders. They missed out on they keep missing out on a franchise quarterback. You got to interview these guys. If you like the talent, you got to take a swing at them. Jackson Dart, again, it's funny. Me and my son was just talking about Jackson Dart about an hour ago. And, my son is the one that told me, oh, Jackson Dart isn't the guy. And I said to him, well, people tell me the one game we watched of him together, that was his only bad game in college versus Florida. And he was like, yeah, but that was pretty bad. Which is true. It was bad, man. Because we can't get over the fact he threw a terrible interception, right? It got called back for a penalty somewhere else on the field, and the very next play he threw a pick again. But they say that was his only bad game versus Florida, supposedly. But outside of that, a lot of people like him. They like his intangibles. They like what he brings to the table. So yeah, Pittsburgh got to do their due diligence. They got to bring in a young guy, and Mike Tomlin, I think it's time where he owes it to the organization to bring in a guy that they hope that they can see a future with, that they actually draft, I don't know. When is the last time they've done that?
What, the Steelers drafted quarterback, Mason Rudolph?
Early, like
Kenny Pickett.
First round.
Pick.
Yeah, you're right.
First round pick.
You're right.
He was a first round pick. Holy hell, that class was
you're right. You gotta
wasn't he the first one off the board? That was the worst quarterback class.
How long ago was that now?
Oh, who else was in that class?
That was the worst class with is that with Will Levis? No. That was 2022 class.
22, yeah.
It was Pickett and somebody else.
Might be the worst class ever.
It was Kenny Pickett was first, Desmond Ridder, Sam Howell, Malik Willis, Brock Purdy. Matt Corral, Bailey Zappi, Skylar Thompson.
2022.
Yikes.
That everyone's like this year, like, oh, this quarterback class is the worst, bro. It's trash. No, it's not even close to
And
the
the
worst.
2022 NFL draft says hold my
bro,
beer.
Terrible. Kenny Pickett went like at least this year there's a bona fide number 1 overall pick in Cam Ward. This class didn't have that.
Oh. All right.
It's
Well, hey, you know what?
ever.
A lot of questions will be answered about one particular quarterback prospect coming into the NFL draft, Shador Sanders, because damn, the Colorado Pro Day is today. And not only will he be throwing, I could imagine that I've been scrolling through Twitter. I am on the Draft Network's X account as we speak. And the only image I've seen so far is Travis Hunter and also Shador doing some warm-ups. So I could imagine at any point, Shador should begin to start throwing. What are we expecting today, folks?
Did you hear? Hold on 1 second. TD's impromptu. Did you hear Dan Orlovsky talk about Shador's NFL comp right now?
Andy Dalton?
He said Tua Tagovailoa.
He said Tua?
Yeah.
Well, somebody in the NFL media,
this man's stock.
Somebody in the media said his comp was Andy Dalton. That was crazy. Like, that was like, okay, listen, I get it if you're not high on Shador Sanders. But when one dude said Andy Dalton, I said, come on. Dude. Like, Tua, I don't know, Richie, what?
He pointed out the accuracy and the smarts, but I don't know where Tua's smart, where we're getting this smart stuff with Tua.
I got the perfect comp.
Go ahead.
Jalen Hurts.
Really?
Yeah. I see Jalen Hurts in his game, but more of a pure thrower. I think from a mobility standpoint, he's not as powerful, but he can run. Jackson Dart is a very underrated athlete, and I think his style of being a mobile quarterback is more of a Jalen Hurts rather than a guy like Josh Allen or Lamar or Mahomes. He kind of has that Jalen Hurts, and Jalen Hurts isn't, a perfect passer, but he stretches the ball down the field when he needs to. I see a Jalen Hurts and Jackson Dart, but not, of course, like exactly clone of Hurts. But if there was somebody that reminds me of him, it is him.
See, I feel like this is a perfect opportunity for a repurposed short form content right now. Because I think a big debate is, let's pretend Shador went in last year's class. Let's play a game. Would you rather Shador Sanders blank? I'm starting off with Richie. Richie.
Shador Sanders or who? What's the game?
Shador Sanders versus blank or blank. Richie. Shador Sanders or Caleb Williams?
Caleb Williams.
Shador Sanders or Jaden Daniels?
Jaden Daniels.
Shador Sanders or Bo Nix?
That's a tough one. That's a tough one because Bo Nix went out there and proved to be a dog. Shador has not yet. So I'm gonna have to go.
So
Bo
we're
Nix and prove it.
pretending here that he was a part of last year's class. We hopped in a time machine and we are going.
But more of a prospect because I'm thinking of it of what I've seen in the NFL though from these guys already.
Yeah.
I'm not looking at it from like coming out of college.
Okay. Shador Sanders or Drake May?
Shador.
Oh,
I wasn't
Shador
a fan of
Sanders.
Drake May coming out of college. People are like, oh, you hate him because he's a Patriot. Remember, Dan? We did not like Drake May coming out of college.
We did not like Drake May at all.
You didn't like him.
In fact,
either.
I will stand on that hill that I did not like Drake May. I like him now, but
now you like him. Fun game. I like this game. We should play games like this.
Shador Sanders or Michael Penix?
Shador.
All right. Let's go with TD. Shador Sanders.
Well, he's going to say Shador over everybody because he loves the Sanders family. He loves the whole father element. Let's hear it, TD.
I'm trying to make this very easily edited. Hey, listen. I'm trying to make this very easily edited for this short form content. TD, Shador Sanders or Caleb Williams?
Shador Sanders.
Shador Sanders or Jaden Daniels?
Jaden Daniels.
Shador Sanders or Bo Nix?
Shador.
Shador Sanders or Drake May?
Shador.
Shador Sanders or Bo Nix?
Didn't you just say?
No.
Oh, Shador.
How the heck are you
Sanders.
going to take Shador over Caleb Williams, bro? Sorry.
Why wouldn't I mean, what has Caleb done? What are you talking about?
Even coming out of college, dude, prospect-wise, come on.
Oh, no. See, I look at the whole game.
And the whole game, bro. The talent that Caleb Williams has compared to Shador is not even – you can't even – what the heck does Caleb Williams have or what does Shador have that Caleb doesn't?
Processing.
You don't know that. He hasn't shown that he can process the next level, Shador.
Yeah, but we're talking about college. I'm talking about what I saw in college, Richie. You just said
Caleb was processing in college.
I didn't see it like that. I saw a lot of athleticism carrying.
Oh, you were?
Damn.
Just saying.
Damn. Well, folks, listen. We are going to be watching intensely on this Colorado showcase on Friday.
Shador or Justin Fields?
Justin Fields.
Dan, answer the question, Dan.
Out of college? Out of college?
Out of college too.
Yeah, I said Justin
out of college. I'd probably take Fields over that.
Y'all need to
there was a lot of hype around
the prospect coming out of Ohio State. There was a lot of hype around him, bro. Remember Woody Johnson? It was him or Trevor Lawrence.
I feel like they had that. But then again, I did remember that shtick that was associated around Ohio State quarterbacks may
but then CJ Stroud broke that, you know?
Yeah, he did. But that of course was prior to CJ Stroud. But
did he break it?
Did he? I don't know. That is a topic for next week. CJ Stroud is officially a bust. I'm just kidding. Anyway, thank you so much for tuning in to another edition of Roundtable Sports 4th and Forever. Guys, we are live Monday through Friday at 2 p.m. EST. And we're unpacking all of the latest breaking NFL offseason news. Please do us a favor, smash that like button. It's the easiest way to show some love on this channel. And then also, if you are listening on audio, please consider coming on over to YouTube and saying hello because we do all these shows live. Richie, what do you got to say to the audience before we send them off on this gorgeous Friday?
Appreciate everybody tuning in. We love you guys. We got a lot of fun things planned. On 4th and Forever on Roundtable Sports. If you guys filled out that form, just know that I'm creating a new form because I don't really like the way that form works on the back end. So there's a new form that's going to be in the works. So stay tuned for that for the events. We appreciate everybody tuning in to 4th and Forever. Hit the like button on your way out. We appreciate you guys big time. And we love you as always.
What do you got, TD?
Thank you so much for tuning in, man. We're getting closer to the draft. All this hype is about to come full circle. We shall see what goes down. But listen, man, we got to get some a mock draft in too. At least a first rounder, man. I think we could do a first rounder in an hour.
We predict the entire first round of the NFL draft. I feel like that's pretty sick. Yeah. Hey, you know what? Mock draft Monday. 4th and Forever, baby.
Let's go.
And then we
The
can get
fourth
a
and-
graphic about it. And then
The fourth and forever first round
Yeah.
mock draft
yeah.
1.0.
And Blake, just so
Ooh!
you know, we got your info, but I'm going to make a new form. So I'll email you guys the new form to fill out.
Come on, Richie, you're making him do more work, man.
I know. I didn't like that form, bro. Sorry.
All right, man. All right. Well, hey, folks, thank you so much for tuning in to your favorite daily NFL show on the internet. We will see you on Monday. Same time, same place. Deuces.